Hello everyone! Hi, my name is Anh, and today I'm very happy to welcome a very young talent here. He is at a very young age, but he could achieve 8.0, like overall in the IELTS score. That score is very difficult to achieve, okay? So now let's talk with him to know more about the experiences, how he could do that, okay?
So, hi, I'm Nguyên Trãi. Currently, I'm a student at High School for the Gifted. I'm only 15 years old this year. So, I've been learning at Y English for more than a year, if I remember correctly. And well, I'm very proud to get a really high score, 8.0 overall, 8.5 for listening and reading skill, and 7 for speaking and writing.
Okay, so how do you feel when you get that score?
Initially, I just expected that I would get only a 7 or a 7.5 because, well, I just don't want to aim high initially, because if I aim high, I would be disappointed if the results were less than that. It was still a little bit unexpected, but not surprised at all.
Not surprised. It's like, so you know, like on the testing day, like how did you feel and how did you prepare for that?
Well, the night before the test, I just hit the bed early so that I can, get ready for the test next day, because at 8 a.m. I had to do the 3 sections, which are reading, listening, and writing skills. So yeah, I got to sleep early, and in the afternoon at 4 p.m. I did the speaking process.
Okay, so you know, like during the period of time that you learned the IELTS exam, so can you share with us, you know, like in more detail, like how did you learn for listening and reading skills? Because these 2 skills are highest, right? You got 8.5.
Yeah, my tip is just don't do autopractice tests. Instead, you need to work on how to perfect your English. What I normally do is I'm gonna read news on the internet. I can recommend some websites like
what are they?
The Guardian, you know The Guardian?
I know that. I rarely read that.
Yeah, because I really like news, especially some current affairs, international current affairs, so I read The Guardian a lot. Listening, well, I just listen to whatever I like, and sometimes I listen to TED Talks just to improve my academic English, because they use a lot of high level words.
Very specific.
Yeah, it's topic specific. Yeah.
So you said that you like to read Guardian newspaper, right? And so what did you learn from reading that newspaper?
Well, actually, I learned a lot. Well, through the Guardian, I picked up some really fancy words, which can be used in the writing section and maybe also speaking. And the second thing is that's where I learn grammar. Well, I don't learn grammar through books or exercise. Yeah, I just read and just deduce the grammar structure from the sentence. Yes.
I see. Okay, good. I think those are very good pieces of advice. So first, for listening, I think you should listen to a lot of videos on YouTube, whether they are TED Talks or watch whatever that you like, okay? And then for reading, you should read a lot of newspapers, or you read, you know, like articles in English, and from that you learn from the grammar structures, sentence structures, or even advanced words, linking words, a lot of things that you can learn from reading those materials. So what about speaking? Because you know, like you are only 15 years old, but your speaking skills are very excellent. So how do you practice, you know, like speaking skills?
I just kind of immerse myself in English. So I use English a lot during like normal day-to-day conversations. I'm kind of into English, So
Yeah,
I
so
try to
yeah.
use English as much as possible, and yeah, I think that's what makes my English level right now. Besides that, if you had opportunities, I think you should come out and talk to a real foreigner.
Okay, very good. So, in order to improve speaking skills, I think you should, combine between mimicking, just, copy the accent, intonation, and the words that the speaker use. And then, if you have the opportunity, just go out, be confident, and talk with foreigners. And I know that if you do not have the opportunity, you can always download or sign up for the courses or the applications online. Hi Local is one of that. I think you should download that. Yeah.
Learning here, I got a good grasp of how the IELTS test works. I think the people here are friendly enough in order to create a comfortable environment for students to really shine.
So at Wisely Center, we have two principal methods, that is 6 steps and transcribe. So how do you apply those methods into learning English?
Well, for 6 steps method, use this method in my studying a lot. Well, because of a number of reasons. First, instead of just learning one word and just knowing that only word, you can now learn all the synonyms and antonyms and their word formation. Like an example, instead of just learning one word, for example, spectacular, you can now learn many of its synonyms like breathtaking or beautiful, wonderful, you name it.
Yeah, and we have a lot. So without this step, it's very hard to learn those words, right? And the last question, okay, we are coming to the last question, is that do you have anything that you want to share with the audience who are watching us?
Well, to all audience out there, what I really want to say right now is just build a strong English foundation to get a high score instead of just cramming or learning other tips and tricks, because tips and tricks are not as important as your English level. So if your English level is good, then you're guaranteed to score high no matter what. So that's all I want to say.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you your time, your effort, and very interesting conversation today. Okay, and I hope that you have a good day and hope you will become more successful in the future.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's look at the camera and say bye.
Bye.